Herzlich willkommen, Sianamgela, and welcome to the Bundesliga Connection with Kres Harrington on the SL Podcast in partnership with DW Berlin.
It's time for the latest from Germany's domestic football league, the Bundesliga, and more. For that, we are joined by Kres Harrington from our partner station Deutsche Welle in Berlin, Germany. Kres, Dortmund Sebastian Halla netted a hat-trick in a friendly match, and the club has reportedly made progress by extending Youssoufa Moukoko as well.
Yeah, it appears to be a win-win situation for Dortmund right now, who stands sixth in the standings. They need all the motivation they can get, and just the fact that Sebastian Haller netted a hat trick in the stretch of 7 minutes, the first time he's been able to put on a Dortmund jersey, I think is outstanding. A very moral boost for the club without question. We can't forget he continues his comeback from testicular cancer. You know, French-born Ivory Coast striker revealed he had gone through 4 rounds of chemotherapy and he had undergone 2 operations, but he's fully recovered, and it looks like that's to be the case. I'm sure Edin Terzic is going to look how to integrate Haller into the starting lineup, you know, so Dortmund can use that offensive boost. And in terms of Moukoko, reports are they've made progress, like you've said, and that is a positive, because what Dortmund don't want to do is just basically lose him for free. Barcelona and Chelsea are the teams right now to be the main candidates to get his signature. But the reports are that Moukoko is going to have a Barcelona clause in his contract, a Barcelona clause that could be 50 million euros, a release clause, you know, that could allow Moukoko to not only extend his contract with Dortmund, but also depart if Barcelona comes knocking with the right number. Now, but we have to wait and see. I mean, the season is, you know, we're talking about Friday afternoon is when the Bundesliga resumes action with RB Leipzig and Bayern Munich. So not so much time, although the window is open until the 31st of January. So maybe there's more time for Moukoko's situation to get finalized. But I do think it's a positive that they say progress is done, and it's likely that he will sign a new deal, you know, because, you know, there was a question mark for a while, and a young talent like him, they want to get his mind right and mind focused on his future, at least short term at that, and it looks like it could be at Dortmund.
Let's talk about Bayern for a moment here, Kres. They have stated how important signing a goalkeeper is this winter.
Yeah, you know, of course it's important. When you look at Sven Ulreich between the posts, and RB Salzburg is who Bayern welcomed in a friendly that ended level 4-4, which is not good. I mean, Bayern Munich should not be conceding 4 goals. And but it is some positive news. Bayern and Gladbach have resumed negotiations about Jan Sommer. I thought that was a dead deal, because all word out of Gladbach has been saying we're not going to let him go. We're not going to let him go. But there are a few days between now and Friday, and maybe something can get done, because I think Gladbach were interested in another player outside the league. And if they get his signature, maybe that does make sense. Jan Sommer wants to win trophies. He's made that very clear. And just looking at the recent scoreline Bayern put up, they're going to definitely need a solid goalkeeper. They have multiple competitions. We can't forget the Champions League, PSG. That's a huge match coming up. Sven Ulreich, in my opinion, doesn't have the team's confidence, nor, you know, the coach's confidence to be that guy between the posts. That's why they're making it, you know, paramount that they try to get someone seasoned. And Jan Sommer makes the most sense. He's familiar, and hopefully they get that done if you're a Bayern fan out there, you know, because there is a back and forth battle between Bayern and RB Red Bull Salzburg. That's what the RB stands for. You know, 4-4, and RB Salzburg had the lead at one point, you know, but it was leveled, you know, a back and forth seesaw battle. But nonetheless, I think Bayern definitely need that last line of defense to be fixed. And right now it's a question mark.
Staying with Bayern, Kres, coach Julian Nagelsmann said Sadio Mane could be ready for the Champions League match against PSG. What are your thoughts surrounding that?
Yeah, I think that's great news. I mean, anytime a player recovers, you have to consider, you know, Sadio Mane, a tough blow. He missed out on the World Cup. Who knows what Senegal could have attained with Sadio Mane suiting up for them, you know. But Julian Nagelsmann basically says he's been making progress. He's ahead of schedule. Those are the reports. I've seen a photo of him working out, you know, in the locker room, but we don't know how staged that is. I mean, I'm not sitting in there during his workout sessions, but you have to believe what's coming out of the camp, Bayern camp, saying that they could see him as soon as the Paris fixture. I think that'll be important, because Bayern are going to have to change it up offensively. You're talking about, that interesting fixture. PSG, they have Lionel Messi, okay? And then they have finalists Mbappe, and a handful of other players, as well that are a major threat. And any threat that Bayern could add to their offense in the form of Sadio Mane is a good, sign, I think, even though if it's just blowing smoke right now. Nagelsmann said in his mind he's not counting on him for the first game against Paris. So that suggests maybe the second game. The first game kicks off February 14th. The return fixture is the following month on the 8th. So maybe there's time that we see him back. I'd like to see him back. He's put up 6 goals and 3 assists in the league since moving from Liverpool. I think he's better than that, and I think Bayern fans want to see more. So hopefully we'll have that opportunity once he's healthy and back on the pitch.
And just like always, Kres, what else has hit your radar?
Yeah, just the season. A hop, jump, skipping away. RB Leipzig hosting Bayern Munich. And in that fixture, Bayern have been very dominant. But as I've mentioned, if Bayern don't have their goalkeeping situation figured out, maybe there's an upset on the horizon. There's been quite a long time since RB Leipzig has been able to defeat Bayern Munich. I think that's a huge way to kick off the return of the Bundesliga. And some positive news for Bayer Leverkusen, their 19-year-old sensation, Florian Wirtz. He's finally good to go again. He became the youngest player to reach 50 Bundesliga appearances in December. His name has always been thrown around with the younger sensations of the Bundesliga, the likes of Bellingham, Jamal Musiala, but he suffered an ACL tear in March last season, so he's been out for quite some period. Bayer Leverkusen has been struggling, but it's good to see him back. Leverkusen or at Gladbach to resume their league action. And it's just good to see him healthy. I think Leverkusen will do good and maybe have more improvement. They've improved a little bit under Xabi Alonso, but I think they'll do a bit better with the 19-year-old sensation Florian Wirtz.
Thank you very much for the Bundesliga update, Mr. Kres Harrington from our partner station Deutsche Welle in Berlin, Germany. Have a fantastic day further.
Dankeschön und auf Wiedersehen.
The Bundesliga Connection is a team effort driven by the following incredible individuals. The show is hosted by Aidan Hewitt and Kres Harrington. It is produced by Kres Harrington. It is edited by Aidan Hewitt and Uli Presch, and graphics are provided by David Scullard.